SMCI come down a little bit here after the glorious short squeeze. Not glorious for me. Glorious for whoever was long this thing. And I've been long this stock and short this stock. I will say this. They invested in Lambda Series D. That's bullish. Because if they got the money to invest in a privately held company, these guys have debt. Lambda's a customer of theirs. So I'm sure they put like 5 or 10 million, but it's still like they're certainly not going bankrupt. If they have the confidence to invest in Lambda, that's probably, sort of a bullish thing. One of the things you have to learn how to do as a trader that I've never loved doing, but I'm 100x better than I used to be, is take losses. You got to enjoy it. It's like very paradoxical. You got to be like, yeah, I'm getting out of a loss before I make more losses. Yeah, it's great. It's obviously a little not fun to do, but look at how fast SMCI has dropped as I'm sitting here. And again, this is a stock where you might get $1 a minute, and to a trader, volatility is your best friend. Volatility helps you cover up your mistakes. Well, they just announced that deal, 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗏. They just announced that Lambda investment. Well, Lambda announced it, but they had a list. Look, I made money in this stock. I've lost money in this stock. Don't say I told you so. All right. I don't look at your P&L and say I told you so. I've traded 600, 700, 800 of stocks. 9, 10 digits of volume the last 12 months. You want to go through every trade I made and say I told you so? Come on, dude. Come on. Listen, Palantir, at the end of the day, it can't go up every day. It's not a miracle. It's a great company, but it's not a miracle. It's I think it's going to outperform a lot of the other dogs. So I'd rather be long Palantir than SoundHound, right? But if you think momentum's going to drop, or there's going to be negative beta, everything's going to go down. And high tech, high growth stuff is going to go down, more than defensive stuff like pharma or consumer. There's a great mutual fund from AQR. I got to tell my girlfriend's parents about this actually. It's called the AQR Defensive Fund. Okay, AQR is a wonderful quantitative hedge fund, and they have this defensive fund, which is meant to be like, these are good investments in bad times. And we've had good times for 18 years, 17 years now. We're going to have some bad times soon. I just know it. There has to be some bad times coming around the corner. And look, maybe I hope I'm wrong, right? But the AQR Defensive Fund, which is a mutual fund, and it's a cheap fund for what you're getting, which is the top quant fund, one of the top quant funds in the world. It's had a very good track record, and it's, if you want to be long stuff in what could be a market downturn, it's good stuff to be long. It is Cliff's, yeah. AQR is Cliff Asness, probably one of the brightest minds in finance. You'd much rather own Procter & Gamble and Pfizer and Merck. And again, having a human do it, very 1970s. Cliff's one of the best quants in the world, and his machines will work for you for 38 basis points. It's a pretty good deal. Most of those quant firms, you got to be putting in 5-10 mil before. Honestly, maybe even 100 mil before they'll even pay attention to you. You got to wait for 5-10 years to be in those funds, but Cliff is the only quant that made a mutual fund, which is kind of remarkable. To this day, I don't know why he did it. When he did it 20 years ago, I remember very vividly, and I was surprised. And I even said, why is he doing a mutual fund? What is this? We kind of look down the mutual fund industry as a hedge fund. But now I kind of realize the brilliance. If you got $100 billion in AUM on mutual funds, and all it is for you is pressing go on a computer, that's a $5-10 billion business. Who wouldn't want that? It doesn't cost you extra to buy those stocks. Now, I do think it'll fill up your quant fund because you now have crowding issues. But a lot of the stocks they're playing in, they don't have a crowding problem anyway. I was still a little puzzled when he did it, but now I kind of understand better that they probably can take some good market share from the non-quant funds. Almost every mutual fund is either an index fund or, an actively managed fund. Almost none of them are quant funds. So it's a very unique asset class too. It it might make sense, even for diversification purposes, to have, okay, I have some of my money, 2%, 5%, whatever, in a quant fund. And most people aren't rich enough to say that, but the AQR funds, I don't think they even have a minimum. If the minimum, it's some tiny minimum. Whereas in the hedge fund side, I mean, you got to show up with the hundo, sometimes even $1 billion. You want to get Renaissance's attention? Show me $1 billion. Now we're talking. Then we'll talk. You want to get 𝗕𝗢𝗄𝗃's attention? 250. But you can be in a high quality quant fund with AQR just on the SMCI burning down.
Order fill.
I told you. Yeah. Yeah. Who said I told you? Who said I told you? Nah, son. I told you. I told you. You were telling me that you told me, but now I'm telling you that I told you. Shkreli, I told you to go long. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? That's a gat. That's like seeing a big old gat. Carp tries to sell $1 billion of stock. That's well known already. No, I didn't cover much. I'm always trading a little bit here and there, but I didn't cover much QC. I kind of added to it. Yeah, momentum stocks are dropping. You got to hit. If I'm sitting there and I'm really trying to make some money, you got to start hitting some BBAI. You got to start hitting some shorts here. Palantir dropped 8%. What else has gone up a lot? I would hit some AppLovin. Yeah, that's still up. You start shooting first, ask questions later. Give me that AppLovin. You just got to short whatever. Okay. What else are we shorting? We just got to cut into some stuff. What's been up a ton? Tell me, guys. Come on, do something useful for Shkreli. What's been up a ton? HIMS. Let's go after HIMS. Let's go. And our quantum's going to pay too. Okay, what else?
Order
what
filled.
Else? I'm in HIMS. Now what else? DJT, fine. Short some of that. And again, I love President Trump. What else? Carvana? Yeah, let's do it. Even though they're reporting in 30 minutes. CRISPR, 𝗏𝗏, there you go. Short some 𝗏𝗏. You got to hit all this momentum. If momentum's going to sell off as a factor, this is what we do. Now, it could be too late as well, but momentum's selling off for a reason. But SMCI, is this thing going to bottom? It's up $1 off the lows. Somebody's blowing up. It's a quant fund or a pod shop or something. Somebody's taking it to cleaners. Right now at Citadel, there's a guy screaming, "Get it off my books now!" When you really want to get it off the books, you just short a bunch of SPY. It's easier, faster. Short 2 billion SPY, you don't have to worry about anything else. Is this Trump related? Momentum contagion happens. I mean, look, we're barely down right now. We could be down. This is nothing. We could see 610 real quick in a heartbeat. Or 609 or 605. Oh yeah, MSTR, always a good idea. Yeah, if the market gets sick of momentum stocks, we definitely have a problem. It's kind of like IonQ has been flashing us the last week or two. It's like, it don't matter if it's good news or bad news, bro. I mean, think about this. You got Microsoft coming out and saying, we're making a quantum computer. Okay? Microsoft. IonQ is barely up. Okay, so it's all coming in defense cuts. But, that still stings the momentum stories. Even though you're like, oh, quantum's safe. My nuclear plays are safe. Well, the guy that owns a bunch of Palantir happens to also own a bunch of 𝗏𝗏 and a bunch of QC. He's looking at his portfolio like, maybe I should just sell it. Oh, that's interesting, Andrew. Yeah. There's a form ADV as well, PO. And then sometimes it looks like Palantir's picking back up here. It'll be telling if there's a second kind of... I might put back this SMCI that I covered. VIX is chilling, tells you that nothing's happening. It might be a nothing burger. Okay, somebody just smacked Palantir down. Yeah, I think what's more interesting is like pretty subtle news can knock a stock down 9%. It tells you how everyone's positioned. The West has fallen, billions must die. I don't think the fundamentals matter at all on any of these things. It's just this risk off perception. You've had AppLovin go to the moon. You've had SMCI double for no reason. You've had Palantir go crazy. You had QC go crazy. You had risk on for a while. Now it's time for risk off. Right. Carp looks at it and says, I'll take $1 billion off this. Thank you. You've had MicroStrategy. Bulls had their time. It's spare time now. You get the ball back. Don't worry. It's healthy, stock shouldn't be straight up, right? That's not good. Carvana's going crazy. I wouldn't call that crazy. Yeah, everything's behaving. I mean, it seems the damage very contained to Palantir, not infecting other momentum stocks at all. I don't know that it means much. I mean, quantum had been pummeled. So a brief reprieve, I think, was going to happen regardless. The fact that Microsoft came too and the reprieve is like fairly muted tells you there's some supply out there still. Yeah, Elon's gotten interested in quantum. I don't think that's good for these little quantum roaches. The best thing for the little quantum guys is that nobody pays attention to quantum. The last thing they want is Microsoft, IBM, Google, and Elon Musk with their little, stature. Because they got a little clout right now. Those guys come in, they're going to have no clout left. Instead of when people talk about quantum, they're going to say, oh yeah, IonQ, Rigetti, right? Now you know what they're going to say. They're going to say Microsoft, Musk, Google, IBM. When you say, what about Rigetti? People say, who? So I don't think these guys would want those guys coming in. Because these guys are the true believers for so long. Now these companies come in and say, yeah, thanks for warming this up for us. We got this. But again, a good debater can debate anything. You have to make sure that when you're looking at your investments that you're not debating yourself into a box. Because that's just coping. So don't cope yourself to death. But I really do believe these companies are going nowhere. I would do as many offerings as I could. Pivot to Bitcoin. Hey, Palantir's still selling off. Yeah, that's been known about Carvana for a long time. Carvana's had that stench. I mean, one of the Carvana dudes is a felon. No shade intended, but the father, I think. They sell used cars. Origination and financial trickery is a big part of their business. Yeah, Palantir's, it's a high-quality momentum company that is growing very quickly, and you're going to pay for that. It's one of the premier companies executing in the world today. Some people love to buy stocks like that because if they keep executing, the stock's going to keep going up. But you're paying for that execution. I mean, the assumption is that'll happen. Yeah, it's hard to get love as a used car salesman, even if you become a huge company. But again, there's some weird feeling that there's an Enron type situation here underneath it all. This little pullback in Palantir is comparatively not too worrisome. Palantir kind of rebounded a bit, right? Press release for Carvana can come out whenever, right? Yeah, I'm short a little bit. Oh yeah, let's do a focus. Somebody bought the Leaps, the 2026 35 puts. 35 puts. That's nasty. That's Rick Ross. Okay, what's going on? Carvana's up. News is not out as far as I know. It must be on the website. Only explanation. Who's squeezing these earnings? They're not on Bloomberg. It's not on 𝗏𝗏. It's on their website. Yeah, I did see NACTRA, but right now we focused on this. There's no earnings out, bro. Yo, okay. Whew. I was going to say, if they put this out the shiesty way, I would be upset. Q3 earnings release. Let's see when we get to Q4. No, I still think they get a few seconds on us, but we're working on that. Carvana, 355 big beat. How about EPS? Where's the EPS? What's the earnings? Outlook. Yeah, Outlook's sort of weird. They didn't really actually give a number. Did they give earnings? I guess they don't give earnings. But they beat. They beat decent. They beat on EBITDA. It's not bad. I sorted DJT, Carvana, AppLovin. No, not Carvana. DJT. Just looking at my positions. AppLovin. Undisclosed SEC, investigation? Or so it's really hard to tell if, for Neurocrine, would you want an early M1, M4 portfolio plus this depression drug and then $100 of cash? Would you buy all that for $115? Doesn't seem like a steal to me. Depression drug probably doesn't work. The M4s, everyone's making an M4. Look how bad the stock got clobbered. Wow. This same thing literally happened last quarter. Or no, that was the... Yeah, it's not too expensive, but they have some cash too, right? Am I including that? Yeah, I'm including the cash. So you basically get a bunch of assets for free, depending on how you look at it. Oh, man. Yeah, there's not... Most Renaissance people are not on Bloomberg. Almost none. You're shorting HIMS? Interesting. Yeah, it's probably a good sell. I don't know if it's a good short, but same thing, right? HIMS was great, but it's probably over. Yeah, we hire programmers. We're looking for front-end guy. We're looking for anybody really good at data visualization. You know, just at generically good full-stack people. We'll be doing sales at some point. I mean, SQL is part of full stack. I don't think we really need data scientist type people, but can you be a good quant without being Asian? Maybe. You work really hard. I think it's starting to get pretty fully valued. I mean, it's pretty hard to imagine HIMS having tons of upside from here. I didn't say it was overrated. I take no position on these products. I don't care what the company makes. As long as their customers like the product or don't like the product. And my job is to analyze the equity. Yeah, this doesn't... I know Microsoft's been working on this stuff. This won't help... this definitely is not going to help the rivals. The Majorana qubits are very, very different. This is bad for... This is bad for these guys. I like that people see the word breakthrough and they get excited. It's an 8-qubit chip. 8 qubits. My man, I can make an 8-qubit in my garage. Everybody knows Microsoft's been working on this too. It's not news. I think these stocks will be back down today. This is the last gasp for baggies. Make sure you fill up your bags because we will be emptying them later. 8-qubit chip for Microsoft. Whoa. 8 a.m. article. All you have to do is see that and load up. Yeah, I mean, look, Microsoft's never made hardware. So, yeah, we'll see, Plato. Everyone's been saying that. We don't have a working quantum computer yet. There we go. Microsoft braids anions into topological qubits on new Majorana quantum chip. Just hit the tape. Here, network world. The Majorana quasi-particle is designed to scale to 1,000,000 qubits. That's a new state of matter. Topological matter. Looks like Microsoft put out something on their website too. Topoconductor. First ever topoconductor. Unless IonQ is going to abandon what they've got and make a topoconductor. Why have we been doing ion traps? It's a wrap. It's over. Oh, you don't have a topoconductor? Does Rigetti have a topoconductor? Maybe they should call it topoconductor Q instead of IonQ. Even if quantum's real, this is the real thing now. Look at this guy. Look at him standing in front of the clean room, where all his underlings are in the clean room, and he's a boss with the boss. IonQ don't have no Indians, bro. IonQ dude is a white dude. It's over. It's been long established that Indians are better engineers. Oh, look at this guy. This guy's a boss too. He's not even standing up. And you see that smile? He's like, yeah, I got the goods. Got these topoconductors at the crib. Fell off the truck. Brand new. Rest in peace, ion traps. Y'all still using the basic states of matter? What? Man, you're not using Majorana fermions and anions? Come on, man. We needed a new qubit. Okay, Microsoft has partnered with Quantinium and Atom Computing. Quantinium is like a spin out. Yeah. It also creates competing, there's going to be, it's about as bearish as it gets for these stocks. They popped and they're right back down. Now the baggies who bought at 35 are like, ooh, Shkreli just took my money. How do you take my money like that, Shkreli? Sorry, I had to. I'm going to need that. I need bounces in these stocks to keep shorting. All-time high price, all-time high volume. Yeah, it's definitely not good news. I mean, they want the big companies to be excited about quantum, but like Microsoft's like 10-person team doing an 8-qubit computer is definitely not something Satya is like, you know how much revenue Microsoft has to worry about? I mean, I kind of think it's good for us because it kind of keeps the interest in the space, which I think is good because it gives like a little bit of hope to the true bag holder. I think they'll be down today. I like that Microsoft said, we looked at the space and we decided that we're not going to do the Rigetti approach or the IonQ approach. Those approaches aren't going to work. I think it's a good thing because a little bit of hopium kind of, the market works a little differently than I think people think. Like, a lot of people think that it's just a sea of buyers versus a sea of sellers, like a tug of war with the rope. And you got 10 people tugging on one end of the rope and 10 people tugging on the other end of the rope. And that the hope is that, you have more people tugging on the rope from your side than on the other side. That's not really how the market works. Microsoft has had this like weird research unit for a long time. I know somebody who ran it, actually. So it's not really new for them to do like weird experiments. They've done DNA computing. So in any event, the tug of war is not really the point of the market. It's about prices, marginal prices. So if the baggies jump in now, and then they sort of do their thing, they put all their money in, and then the institutions say, oh yeah, these are way overvalued. And even on 100 shares, if they knock the stock down 10%, the baggies kind of realize that they've been had. So like the price discovery mechanism is kind of independent of how many people try to jump in. The marginal buyer and seller will always like set the price. And the retail space runs out of people to defend their positions. And in institutions, you can kind of sit there and defend your position with huge amounts of money. Retail just doesn't have that kind of longevity for a number of obvious reasons. So you almost want those guys to come in and buy as much as they can. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but like that doesn't worry me at all. If Fidelity came in and said, I need to buy as much as I can, different story, right? That's a totally different story. But that's not what's happening here. It's just creating kind of like more victims who will have like more immediate regret. So I don't think it's really kind of something that's a problem. Yeah, Saba behaved pretty well. They more or less were all adults by it. The only person that wasn't an adult about it was `𝗥𝗩𝗘𝗢, who's still clinging on to some weird belief that he's going to make some money somehow. Yeah, at best you're getting good entry liquidity. Hedge funds are like, oh, thank you, short another million shares. And then once retail's out, like it doesn't take much capital to drop it back down again. And then you have retail kind of giving up on it. So I think it almost is a catalyst. It's like every big tech company has like a little quantum project that's just like a little kind of fun for them. I think Microsoft probably saw the Google stuff and they're like, oh yeah, we got a couple guys working on that too. Yeah, I think once you see a quarter or two of revenue, like especially Rigetti having no revenue, it's like, okay, this isn't a hot space. This is a cold space. I wouldn't say there's infinite loss potential in shorting. Yeah, I like Satya a lot. If Satya comes out and says he loves quantum computing, that would mean something to me. It's not really what date we think it'll happen. It's whether or not they announce the earnings date itself. Yeah, Microsoft's talked about quantum for a long time. Well, it'll be interesting if they can actually scale it, right? They're at 8 qubits right now. But if they could scale it, it basically kills off IonQ and kills off Rigetti. So that would be... Again, there's still no commercial utility